a lot of people have said in response to that, a few people can't control the world. There's too many people. It's not possible. Well, now we have a handful of people, which you could probably get on 10 fingers, that control Google, control YouTube, owned by Google, control Facebook, that absolutely dominate the information that most people see or don't see. We have a concentration of power in Silicon Valley, a very small area of the world, that is the greatest concentration of surveillance and censorship power the world has ever seen.
The notion that a powerful group of really powerful and wealthy individuals controls the world is often chalked up by the media as nothing but laughable conspiracy theories. But if the past few years have taught us anything, it is that most conspiracy theories are facts that have not yet been proven. We must ask ourselves, if the world is not controlled by the ultra-rich and powerful, why do they get away with a lot of heinous crimes while dictating how everyone must think and what they should think about? In one of his many interviews, public speaker and former sports broadcaster David Icke discussed the wide margin between freedom of speech and the freedom to conform to what's deemed acceptable to the ultra-rich and powerful. According to Icke, the world does not have freedom of speech today. What we have is the freedom to conform. The freedom to conform to what the ruling class deems acceptable, whether such goes against your personal principles or not. We can see clear examples of this on most mainstream social media platforms, search engines, and streaming platforms like YouTube. The only people allowed to speak and be heard are those saying what the ruling class deems acceptable. That's not freedom of speech. It is the power of forcing people to conform to what the heads of these platforms and their powerful backers deem acceptable. We will now bring you clips from David's interview with Rob Moore, in which he speaks about censorship, freedom of speech, and the ultra-rich and powerful people who control the world. Please watch to the end, like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Anyone that wants to silence people rather than argue their case can't have much confidence in their own case, surely. Yeah. And once you go down this road of giving authority the right to decide what can be said, what opinions can be had, you are in a tyranny, and that's where we're going now. But it's bigger than that, because it's not just political correctness. You can't say this, you can't say that, you must say that. It's also the fact that humanity has been hoaxed on a monumental scale in relation to freedom of expression and freedom of information. And it's been done out of an area that I call the devil's playground. It's better known as Silicon Valley. What's happened is, when you do the research, intelligence organizations like the CIA in the United States, the National Security Agency, and the Pentagon through an organization called DARPA, the technological development arm of the Pentagon, they began seed funding technology and companies to develop what has become now known as the Internet, and an outgrowth of that, what became known as social media, and the search engine technology, which eventually became known as Google. All those were seed funded by this military intelligence network. And when they were selling it, because you can't show something's real face at the start, otherwise people will reject it and it won't get anywhere. You have to put another face to the world. So it was Google. Oh yeah, Google, yeah, and we just got a search engine, we can find what we like, that's great, hey. And social media, oh, you post to your friends, you can say what you like, there's no censorship, isn't it great? And then it builds, and then it builds, and then it builds. And now you've reached a point now with Facebook where it claims 2.2 billion active users in a global population of 7.5 billion. You have this 90% monopoly on search engines, searches of Google. You have YouTube, which has got basically a monopoly on the posting of internet videos, which is owned by Google. And once this monopolistic situation was reached, then they started saying, okay, now we've got this much control. We're going to start deciding what you see and what you don't see. It's fishing line out. Oh, it ain't great. Yeah, right. Say what you like. You know, no censorship. Ooh, gotcha. And so we now have Facebook that is systematically censoring information outside of the official narrative. We have this situation with Facebook and Twitter now, which is known as ghost banning, which they do to me, which is you post it, but all the people that would like to see it and have liked or followed, would like to see it, they don't see it. Only a few of them see it. The vast majority don't see it because of ghost banning. They just don't circulate it. And you now have, as blatant as can be, YouTube is just deleting large and greater all the time numbers of channels that are presenting a different narrative to the official one across the swathe of subjects that are just being deleted. They're just being deleted without any explanation.
In today's world of extreme censorship, people are repeatedly demonized for saying anything contrary to the official narrative. Icke equates such actions with the actions of the fascists in Nazi Germany. They also controlled the official narrative by shutting up people with dissenting opinions. You cannot claim to be a free and fair society when you continuously resort to tyranny every time someone says something you don't agree with, especially when there is a lot of truth to what these people are saying. That's what you do when your goal is to create a society of zombies who will believe only the official narrative and eat up everything they are fed. Hook, line, and sinker. That's what you do when you wish to disarm the population to make them more receptive to whatever diabolical endgame you have in store for them. That's why public speakers like Icke repeatedly warn about the dangers of giving these people too much power by mindlessly following the official narrative at all times. The people are losing their voices. Not just because Silicon Valley billionaires are censoring us, but because we are allowing them to. Let's get back to the interview.
I've been talking for 30 years and writing for 30 years. There are very few people control the world. Very few people. People will be staggered how few.
How many?
Well, I'm going to come to that in terms of it's fewer now than ever before and why. But a lot of people have said in response to that, a few people can't control the world. There's too many people. It's not possible. Well, now we have a handful of people, which you could probably get on 10 fingers or 2 hands, that control Google, control YouTube, owned by Google, control Facebook, that absolutely dominate the information that most people see or don't see. We have a concentration of power in Silicon Valley, a very small area of the world, that is the greatest concentration of surveillance and censorship power the world has ever seen. They can decide what you see and what you don't see, and they can trawl your data, in other words, the military intelligence community can, to find out the fine detail of your life from the information that you've posted on these various platforms. So that's what we're facing in terms of freedom of speech. It's disappearing. In fact, it doesn't exist. There is no freedom of speech. By the definition of freedom of speech is the freedom to speak your opinion and not have it censored and not have it banned. We've reached the point now where there is a global network of ultra-Zionist groups that answer to Israel and the Netanyahu regime currently, who are targeting anyone who is in any way questioning the fact that Israel is not God's gift to humanity in every last thing that it does. This does not only include the general population. The ones they focused most on are Jewish people. Jewish people who are questioning the Israeli treatment of the Palestinians, which is horrific, are being targeted by these ultra-Zionist hate groups. I say hate groups because their modus operandi is to get the public to hate their targets, to silence them. And it's extraordinary how easy it is. I'll tell you how easy it is with me. They go to, and I'm talking a ridiculously few people that don't represent the Jewish community at all, just claim to. They'll go to a venue and they'll say, this man Icke, he's going to come and say, it's all the Jews, he's anti-Semitic, he's a racist, he's going to say the Jews are doing this, the Jews are doing that. I ain't said any of that. The venue does not then come to me and say, look, these people are saying you're going to say this. And I'd say, look, go on my website and you'll see a video, a 10-hour talk that I've been doing for the last 2 years. Show me where there's any anti-Semitism or racism in it. Quite the opposite, because what I'm saying is, ironically, we need to put down these irrelevant manufactured fault lines of race and religion and culture and color that divide us and realize that we're actually all one consciousness having different experiences.
Do we really want to live in a world where censorship is justified as necessary for public order? A world where individuals like David Icke, who dare to question the mainstream narrative, can be silenced and labeled as dangerous to society? Are we okay with living in a society where we need permission to do anything just to save the planet, while billionaires who claim to be saving the planet continue to pollute the world with their yachts and private jets? Will we be content when we no longer own anything, and AI controls our every thought, word, and action? These are crucial conversations that demand our attention. As Icke has stated, the 1% cannot control the 99% if we refuse to give them the power to do so. So, let's not ignore these issues. Let's engage in meaningful dialogue and take action to protect our freedoms and basic human rights. If you found this message compelling, please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on post notifications for more thought-provoking content. Thank you for watching.